How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So over on the dollar index for the daily, we did try to break out of our pattern. We got our full push forward, but we have a potential rejection, so I would exercise caution. That could mean if we follow this with a red candle, we would continue lower and invalidate the double bottom possibility. Again, that could be positive for crypto because usually they are inversely related. Stochastic is pretty flat here. Watch for it to break. That could lead that RSI, the red line, lower. The stochastics are double line, the blue and orange. As the orange holds above blue, we have bearish strength. Our momentum, the blue wave, does want to round away, and that VWAP is pushing down, causing momentum to round. So if that yellow wave, our VWAP, continues lower and breaks that neutral, we could see that money flow remain in the red, and then we would continue lower. Our neutral is the 0 here. For these, our RSI and stochastic is 30. So watch lower time frames. If lower time frames are weak, then we could break down. We do have a potential channel here, so parallel channel tool on TradingView. Remember, this is free, so everything we're showing is free. I don't have anything paid, but I'm showing you, so you can do all this without any money. So draw this down. This is a descending channel. A descending channel does break you forward. That is positive. That would push you toward the 102 area. That could continue, but we did reject our third touch to the top, and usually after the third touch to the top is where you want to break forward. So if we hit that bottom support and we break down, then it's likely we would continue lower and we would see Dixie break down. However, if we hold that support, I would watch for a push to the upside and then a potential break forward. Remember, you typically would trade on your retests. If you traded here when you broke up, you would have been at a loss right now. Ideally, you would have waited for price to push forward, then pull back to your flag and or pattern, and then push forward after getting that bounce. So that would be the ideal move. You're not always going to get that move. We will have a case of that tonight. So over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, zoom out so we can see our volume profile. We are pretty stagnant here, overall pushing down. We do have a long upper shadow candle, so I would watch for a red candle here. If we follow this with a strong red candle, it's likely we could create another rounding top, getting a lower high, and then if we follow that with a lower low, we could break back toward that value area high and push back toward the 56%. That would mean our altcoins would do better than Bitcoin in that time. So over on total for the daily, we did reject that 602 area. I would watch. This could set us up to continue lower with lower highs and lower lows. But the positive note on that is we do have a gap on the daily. And as that's the biggest time frame we typically watch, that is very strong and can help push us forward. Our side does want to pull back. Stochastic is starting to round away. That VWAP is breaking bearish, so I would watch. If that VWAP continues lower, we will see momentum continue lower. It does have a red dot as that VWAP breaks down. And as they push down, that money flow will go from green to red, signaling that we have selling pressure, and that would cause most of our altcoins to sell off because remember, total is the market cap of all of our altcoins. We do have a bit of descending channel here though, so that could push us forward. So remember that descending channel is a bullish pattern. Not everything that's bad actually sounds bad is bad for you, but the bearish continuation pattern, if we broke out of this and got a lower low outside of this channel, then that would be what would take you down. Remember, descending channels push you up, bearish continuations take you down, rising channels push you forward, and bullish continuations push you forward. Rising channels push you down. Sorry, correction on that. But stochastic is starting to pull back. We do have an orange above blue. RSI is pulling back. VWAP is pushing down. We did get a higher high, but now we're getting consistent lows. So watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP stays in this bearish territory, that yellow wave, then momentum will continue lower, and that red dot will pull money flow lower. That would weaken higher time frames over time and give us a further chance to invalidate this pattern. So we did get our double top possibility. We did break away from that. So I would watch for a continuation of this that could give us further downside. This could be like a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So this could be one big shoulder, one big head, and then we could be carving out like a goofy shoulder here. If that were the case, that would mean more downside is yet to come. So we do want to see this descending channel break forward if we're going to make any kind of bullish momentum yet. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we are starting to round away. We do have a rejection from that point of control, so this could be a confirmation of our rejection. I would watch because that would give us lower highs and then watch for lower lows. If we get a lower low and break that value area low right here, that green line, then it's likely we will push down toward that 57. Remember, we do want to push down toward that 57K, make a bounce, and then continue forward. That could give us a higher low in respect to the larger channel. Remember, we're looking at smaller channels and larger channels, so we do have this larger channel here. If we continue with higher lows and higher highs, we have a low here, a slightly high, consistent low here, and we are trying to get a higher low here. So if we're able to get relatively higher lows in this kind of channel, we can continue forward. Remember, if the highs and lows don't connect very well, that does create a bullish continuation that can break you forward. But if they do connect, that will create a rising channel that could break us down. And we do have that potential right now as these highs and lows do connect pretty decently. Draw that out. So that could be a lower low if you consider this low back here. But if you're just looking at from here to here, we do have a higher high with higher lows. These do not connect, so this could be the bullish part. This could just be a bunch of indecision. I would watch because remember, we do still have that 57K gap, and gaps have an 80% likelihood to fill. Over on the 1 hour, we also did break that 300 EMA, and if we continue below this EMA, it's very likely we will push down toward that gapped area. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is pushing down, momentum is breaking down with a red dot, so if that VWAP continues lower, that momentum will continue lower, money flow will remain in the red, and we will weaken higher time frames. That would result in lower price action. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, I am going to delete this double bottom because it's pretty much shot at this point because we have all this indecision and we do have the potential for lower highs and lower lows to form. So watch for a continuation of a rejection here. We do have a manipulation X that does signal that we do want to break down here. SIX above our candle on our market cipher. Remember, we set those up in the Mastering the Trade links in that comment. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is starting to push down, VWAP is bullish but starting to round away, so keep an eye on that, and our momentum is bearish, so if that VWAP does break down, our momentum will bring money flow lower, and we will continue lower with our price overall, possibly toward that 57K support, just like futures. Remember, futures does lead Bitcoin price, so they do kind of rhyme. Over on the 1 hour here, we are rejecting, we are rejecting our 300 EMA. We do have lower highs with lower lows, so if this trend continues, we could end up breaking down. They don't really create a descending channel, so that doesn't give us the possibility to break forward later. Our stochastic does want to weaken. We do have orange above blue, and we are starting to round, so that does mean our RSI could continue lower and bring price lower with it. That VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. Momentum is starting to reject with the red dot, bringing money flow lower. Again, watch that money flow. If it holds in the red for several hours, we will weaken higher time frames and continue lower. Over on graph for the daily, we are rejecting that 16,316. We did warn to watch for that. So we are likely going to continue toward our 14,316 if lower time frames don't pick up bullish momentum. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is rounding, VWAP does want to break neutral, momentum has a red dot signaling it does want to pull back with that VWAP and bring money flow lower, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 1 hour here, we are rejecting our 300 EMA as well, so again, that is a bearish trend, watch for that. We do have somewhat of a descending channel, so that could be positive overall, but this channel does technically have 3 touches at the top, and we are currently trying to break the bottom. So if we do break the bottom, it's likely we will continue lower. However, if we see a strong green candle next and we continue forward, we do have the possibility to break above that resistance of our 16,316 and potentially flip it to support by making a bounce and continuing forward, just like back here. Stochastic does want to round. We do have that orange above blue, so that does give us a bearish cross. RSI is starting to pull back as a result, bringing price action lower, so keep an eye on that. Our VWAP is pushing down. We do have weak highs, so watch for stronger lows. If we start getting some stronger lows, momentum will continue lower, money flow will continue to break down, and price will follow. So over on Ankr for the daily, we are seeing those lower highs, so watch out for lower lows on the daily. Remember, that could break us down if we lose that 2338. Those lower highs and lower lows, remember, can create bearish continuations if they do not connect. Otherwise, that's a descending channel that pushes you up. RSI is starting to pull back, stochastic is rounding. We do have the potential for that orange to cross the blue, so keep an eye on that. If we cross here, we could give up that 30. Remember, that's the bullish territory, anything above 30. So if we fall below 30, it's likely bears will gain control, pushing RSI and price lower. VWAP does want to reject neutral. Momentum does have a red dot, so keep an eye on that, as that can bring our money flow lower and cause a further sell-off, as that would show that we have further more selling pressure than buying pressure. So over on the 1 hour here, we do have somewhat of a descending channel similar to graphs. So again, I would watch if we do end up breaking below this channel. I would say somewhere around this 26-24. If we break that area, then it's likely bears can gain control. But if we do manage to break forward like the channel should, then we can break above our resistance area of that 26.73. Again, watch for us to flip it and confirm it as support in order for a push forward toward our 300 EMA and then 28.83. Stochastic is starting to round, RSI is pulling back, VWAP does want to break down, momentum is rounding, and money flow is starting to break down, so I would exercise caution here. Over on XRP for the daily, we're still pretty flat, so again, I would err on the side of caution of this being a bear flag, especially with the rest of the market looking weak now. Momentum is pushing down, VWAP is starting to round, our stochastic is trying to inch its way up, but it's not very strong, so keep an eye on it, as that RSI will start to pull back. That money flow is in the bearish territory as well, so if we get a rejection here, it's likely bears will push us lower. Again, that could push us down pretty decent at this point. We could draw it since it's more of a possibility. Over on the 1 hour, you could consider that a freak break up. We'll kind of have to map this out. So that would be a freak break up. I count right there, so that's a little bit of better price action. It's not really easy to see since we have blue on blue, so let's change it to green. That doesn't really help. We'll change it to red, I guess. So then we can draw a line. We draw from where we broke that up to where we break down. So we move from here to here. You draw that line, you apply it to your bottom. That would give you where you break down to. That would push us down toward that 41 cents. Remember, we do have our 45 cent and 48 cent area supports, and then we have our 38.33. So I would exercise caution if we do lose this zone. Our stochastic does want to round away. RSI is starting to push down. That VWAP is breaking down, so watch that close. If that VWAP continues lower, momentum will break down with that red dot, and money flow could flip from green to red, and that would further weaken those higher time frames, giving the daily that rejection and potentially giving us a breakdown. So over on ALGO for the daily, we are still within our channel, so I would exercise caution. This is more of a rising channel. Remember, rising channels break you down. Stochastic does want to pull back. We do have orange above blue. RSI is pushing down. VWAP is breaking away. Momentum is starting to break bearish, and money flow is green, but we are starting to round, as that VWAP and momentum are favoring bearish, so I would exercise caution. If that continues, it's likely we will continue toward that support. And remember, this pattern can make a new low for us. So over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to round away. Sorry about that. There we go. Stochastic is starting to round away. We do have orange above blue, so that's a bearish cross. That bearish cross can bring us lower and cause RSI to continue to sell off, which would bring price action down. VWAP is starting to curl as well, that yellow wave, so if that breaks that neutral, our momentum will remain in the bearish territory, our blue wave, and that red dot will cause us to continue to see money flow pull back into the red, signaling that we have selling pressure. And remember, if we prolong selling pressure on the lower time frames, that does break those higher time frames down, causing us to break down and see lower price targets. So we do have like that 1175 support, and then if we lose that, we have that 1032. And remember, our pattern can push us right around that 889, so that would be a new low. We have not been that low before. We broke down around 938, so I would exercise caution if we do break that 1032. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. I appreciate